Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Happy Friday, happy Halloween. It's all those things, end of the month. November is coming up. I got a birthday coming up soon in November, so looking forward to that. But like I said, glad to be back with a new episode. I'm very excited to have my next guest waiting in the wings, but I'm not gonna keep her long. So before we get it, let's get it. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I am your host, Courtney Harden. As I said at the top, October 31st, happy Friday, ready for the weekend and all those things. But before we get started, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, BS3 Network YouTube channel, BS3 Network Roku channel. We're on there. Wherever you consume podcasts, we are there. iHeartRadio, Spreaker, all those platforms. You can follow me also in the show on all the social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Get the Real Deal there as well. Get all these shows on those platforms. All right, let me bring in my guest. This is an incredible woman, hardworking, all those things. Her resume is long. I say it's like a CVS receipt. That's how much things she's done. She's the face of NIL. This is what I'm saying. So face of NIL athlete brand builder, also owner of AthleteCon. Can't wait to get into that, AthleteCon, and also ex-NBA dancer and ESPN editor. She's done it all from journalism, sports media, as I said, athlete brand builder, and everything to an owner. So welcome to the show, Sam Green.
Appreciate you having me, Courtney. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm pumped too. And like I said, your resume is long and like I said, it's like a CVS receipt. So I had to like break it down. But it's incredible what you do and hard working that you put out. And anyone that follows you knows you're everywhere when it comes to athletes, brand building, and all that. So I am honored to have you on the show for sure.
Thank you. That means a lot. And I've never heard that one. I like that. The CVS. That's a good one.
Yes. But so let me start here. Like I said, glad to have you on. I always ask my first time guest on the show, who is Sam Green and how did you get into just your love of sports? Just a quick intro before we get into it.
Yeah, I am Sam Green. I am Athlete's go-to brand builder. How I got started? Oh man, Courtney, it's been a grind. The CVS receipt is true, and it's for a reason. I've spent years kind of developing a lot of skills, trying different things, and finally found my knack in where I am, which is educating a lot of athletes on how to actually make money off of their brand and how to build something that'll outlive their playing career. And so from, like you said, being a video editor at ESPN, NBA dancer, was a radio show host for Ryan Seacrest's radio station, launched a YouTube channel and monetized it, interviewing professional athletes, was the director of social media for a lot of high-end gyms, worked at a lot of tech platforms, developing, tech with CTOs for educational platforms for athletes, you name it, I've done it. But bottom line, can sum it all up into, helping athletes monetize their brand.
Absolutely. You do a lot of education. I was on one of your, I think you had one of a YouTube seminar kind of thing. I just signed up and just said, hey, I just want to get in and just to see what it is and everything too. And I think that's how we connected, just off of that. And you basically just sent out the link. And it was a Zoom. Actually, it was a Zoom conference you did, and kind of just wanted to hear your story and things like that. Because I followed you for a while, and you said you educate. I think it was one of the big things you definitely do. Talk about with NIL. We're gonna get into all that in a minute, but yeah, like your resume is so long, but you said you put in the work and everything too. having all those things that you've done before we are today, would you say that molded you to where you are today? You said NBA dancer, working for ESPN, working for all these brands and things like that, journalism and media and things like that. That set you up for where you are today?
No doubt. I couldn't lay my head down on the pillow until I found exactly what it was that was going to wake me up every single day. I know life's a grind, and if you want to be good at anything, you got to work very hard for a very long period of time to really see the payoff, at least the level that I want to see it. And so, I hopped around a bit, and from the outside looking in for years, people kind of maybe thought, I was, floundering or jumping around too much. But at the end of the day, I accumulated a ton of skills and a ton of different roles over a decade and kind of combined them into be able to build and pave kind of my own way and my own two businesses. So absolutely no regrets there, even though it maybe took me a little bit longer to find my path and to start paving it. No regrets.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, that's the early career, and now you said businesswoman, an owner, and just a badass woman that's just doing her thing. So really, I know, yeah, it's so true and everything too. So talk about a little bit of that early career in sports media and being able to see where that has grown, and also being a former NBA dancer as well. Talk about that early career, how that, like I said, how that motivated you. Get a little bit more into that, and where you see that going with the content creation as well.
Yeah, so I started off, my very first job was as a video editor at ESPN. And when I was there, I felt like the video editing process was pretty outdated. I was going in for an 8-hour shift on expensive software, spending, the entire shift editing a 1-minute clip to air on TV. And it was very, very analytical. And I just realized it made me realize I really cared more about like athlete stories rather than their analytics. And so when I left ESPN, I picked up my phone and dedicated like 6 months to just reteaching myself everything that I did there on software, how to do it from my phone. And this was probably a decade ago. So, all the CapCut apps and all those easy to use apps that are out there now were not. I was compiling different apps just to try and speed up this content creation process because I'd been around professional athletes my whole life. And I saw a major, major gap in the industry, even back then, where these athletes had a big opportunity to monetize at the professional level off their NIL through brand deals, but they didn't know how to make content and they didn't know how to edit content. And so they were spending thousands of dollars on production. And so, started to learn how to edit from my phone to teach professional athletes how to be able to actually make, this tangible on, monetizing their brand. And so that's kind of really what got me started into this. And just over the years, I saw it work. I saw athletes buy in. I saw athletes start making good money off of this. I saw athletes go from a couple thousand followers to hundreds of thousands of followers. And to me, it seemed like a strategy and a formula that was working. And so just decided to go all in. And then NIL passed. And I say it's my dream industry. It's cringy, but I felt like it was made for me, everything that I had been doing and, diving into over the past 10 years, all these skills that I had accumulated popped up into a brand new industry where athletes could make money off their NIL, where they were getting paid 4 out of 5 times. 4 out of 5 of these NIL deals are athletes making advertisements for brands. I was already teaching pro athletes that, and just kind of the media side, which I had a background in too, with sideline reporting and, the NBA side. So, again, accumulated these skills and turn it into something.
Absolutely. And now, like you said, I look at you as like one of the, if not the face of NIL, because even with NIL, I'm going to ask you about some misconceptions of it, because there's a lot, and you have to educate a lot of people. I had a couple people on yesterday, a couple of guests on yesterday. We were talking about NIL, and one was saying, I don't understand it. Kids are making money, but there's so much going on with it, and you know it all. You know a lot about it and everything too. So, what are some misconceptions of NIL and when it comes to transfer portal and things like that? It's such a hot topic and a sticky button topic that people don't really understand it. Or, but if you educate someone that's listening, what are some of the misconceptions of NIL?
Number one, everybody assumes because of the headlines that all these athletes are making millions of dollars. And those are the headlines, and they're headlines for a reason. They're catchy, and they're kind of the 1% of the stories. So, the $1 million Arch Manning deal, here and there, like that's great, but that's not, 99% of these deals. But then on the flip side, the other misconception is that only the 1% athletes, only your football players, only your basketball players can make money off of this. And that's not the truth either. So there's kind of like two drastic kind of views of NIL that I believe are really kind of, misperceived unless you're rolling up your sleeves and really seeing the inside of how this industry is working, especially only, coming up on 4 years within a brand new industry.
Yeah, yes, and you're right. I think it's funny. It's funny, like you said, everybody's not making that $1 million. Everybody's not making that bank like Arch Manning, like what Caitlin Clark was making, or Angel Reese was making. Like, yes, there are those exceptions, but everybody is not making that money. And I think where you come in, as you said, being kind of like an NIL advisor in a way, using your talents and skills to educate. And again, how important is that education when a lot of these student athletes want to make some money but don't know how to start or anything like that, and also with the content creation on top of that, you can make money off that too. Just in case anybody know, NIL, name, image, and likeness, that's what it means. So, but talk about how important the education is with NIL.
It's literally everything, because for the athletes, that the money is not just falling into their lap, or there's two types of NIL. There's pay to play, where you're just getting literally paid, through rev share and, for your ability to play on the field or on the court. That's not going to touch every single sport. That's the reality of it. These non-revenue generating sports, you got to make your money somehow. And so one of the big misconceptions is, a track athlete can't make money, and that's not the truth. You might have to be strategic and work a little bit harder, and, it's a different workaround. It might not be about your performance, on the actual track, but, through strategy, through social media, learning how to really build out a network, and, how to convert your NIL into an actual business where you're charging good money for multiple different services, learning how to package it up, learning how to promote yourself, learning how to grow your following. Education is everything. And so some of my athletes that are making the most money are my non-revenue generating sports that are making more money than some of the athletes that are making money through rev share. And the athletes that are actually building and monetizing their brands are building something that's more sustainable than the ones that are just sitting around waiting on their check to play, because one day your name's not going to be on the roster. And so the athletes that are building, or converting their NIL into an actual business are the ones that are making, money over the longevity.
Yeah, and then like I said, even after, because we know just in sports in general, not everybody makes it to the pros.
Right.
I think it's that 99% or whatever it is that doesn't make it, or do you have that? It's probably higher, but there's that 1-2% that makes the pros. But again, someone like you that's in this and educating them, it's like, hey, you can still make money after college. That's where the brand building comes in, content creation, to empower. So I know that you're really big on that. So that content creation and brand building, talk about the importance of that too, when you empower to empower athletes with NIL.
Yeah, it's everything. I've had athletes come to me with 2,000 followers. We sit down, we map things out. My biggest goal in life is to figure out what they want to do when their name's not on the roster. Even if they go pro, that runs out. So what do you want to do in life? Like, what do you actually like? Dream life, not the safe route, which is fine. You can always go get a job. You can always find the perfect 9-to-5. But like, what is your actual real dream? Because let's start building that now while your name's on the roster, while you have a built-in fan base. And so I've had track athletes come to me with 2,000 followers, and just with strategy and a lot of work and dedication, in 6 to 12 months, they reach over 100,000 followers, no brand deals to 25 plus. And one of my favorite stories in the world that I've probably said a bazillion times is one of my track athletes, female track athlete, just landed a car deal. And so, it's work ethic, it's strategy, and it's not caring about what people think. But again, the majority of the NIL money, it's either pay to play or it's getting paid to actually provide value to brands through services and through content.
Absolutely. And we got a couple of shout outs here in the chat. If you guys have any questions for Sam, let us know. We got Nathan Ramasandra from the Nathan Sports Rush. He says, hi, Sam. Hi. And everything. He said that's amazing. The story of the track athlete getting that car deal. And he said he hosted a seminar with Santia Deck a couple of days ago, college, talking about NIL deals for student athletes. And that brings another question about when you see someone that you helped and guided to get those types of deals. How does that make you feel when you see that track athlete, basketball, however, whoever get those type of deals, and you're like, wow, this is possible that they can get these like car deals and things like that when you're building their brand for them, helping them build their brand.
It's what wakes you up every morning, right? And ready to rock.
Yeah,
I mean,
I bet.
if I can, help another athlete, I mean, my goal is to help as many athletes as I can. So, not everybody gets to say that they get to truly help people for a living. And so the fact that I'm able to do that, there's nothing more rewarding.
Yeah, that definitely, I'm sure, very, very rewarding. And as you said, when they win, you win. Then I say that all the time too with the podcast. When I see others get, have a successful podcast or have someone that they wanted to interview, I love that. I love seeing that landscape of people winning. I'm all for that as well. Just like you. And so how do you help athletes balance when it comes to brand building and content creation on top of their academic and athletic schedules?
Oh, so, the number one thing is getting routine oriented for them. They really are that way naturally as athletes. They know every single day that they have to wake up, they have to, hit certain calories or certain protein marks. And they know when they have to go to work out and hit their workouts, and they know when they have practice and games. They're routine oriented. They have homework. They have all these things going on. And so my number one tip for them is start incorporating content creation, brand building, monetizing your actual brand into your routine, and take it just as seriously as you are your sport. You don't get this time back. And they think that they're busy. They think that there's no way they can add another thing into their schedule. And it's like, I encourage them, when you have a day off, you literally dedicate 1 hour, 30 minutes to creating content, 30 minutes to editing content and scheduling it out. There's so many apps that allow you to stay consistent, where you can literally mass produce content in 1 hour and be done for the entire month. And so that's one tip. And then tip number 2 would be tapping into easy, low lift types of content that keep you consistent, to kind of fill the gaps in between the content that takes a lot more time to produce. So something like a 7-second clip of an athlete grabbing a weight, doing a lunge. That's it. One clip. You can tweak the text on the screen. You can find a viral trending audio. This can be relatable to life as a student athlete. That took you maybe 10 seconds. You work out every day, like film every day, prop it up. Now you have thousands of videos, and there's really no excuse to not stay consistent when you kind of can get it down to a systemized process.
Yeah, yep, and that's a key thing. You say consistency, and that's what it is. And again, I go back to like we even putting out episodes. Just like if you're consistent with it, and you say you put a 30-second clip on, and now you're okay. You got that out. Now you're done. And again, for athletes too, the same thing. You put a 10-second viral clip on, and now you say now you're done, at least for the day, maybe for the week, and everything too. So it's definitely because I've got a question in the chat. What are some keys for student athletes to have a successful brand with their social media? And do you recommend them posting every day on the feed and less on the story? That's kind of a good question, kind of what you were just talking about.
Yeah. So in order to have a successful brand, like one that actually makes money, you have to build something of substance, right? So as much as I talk about trends and these quick hitting clips, if you're only making content with the logo on your chest and for you being an athlete, that will run out and you will lose that fan base. So still incorporate that content because you want to be able to engage your fan base that knows you for an athlete, but you got to start building something that's going to last when you actually leave. So simple things like day in the lives allow you to show who you are even outside of an athlete. Maybe you want to go on and become a nurse. Showing yourself in your scrubs, walking to the class, then going to practice allows your audience to start to adapt to you being more than just an athlete. And so that, and then I would also say, if you want to convert this into an actual business, thinking about ways to monetize your brand outside of just brand deals. Maybe you want to run camps and clinics or lessons, then start posting educational content so that that'll convert into young kids looking up to you as an expert. One of my athletes wanted to be a motivational speaker, so I had her go and make her own motivational audios and start like volunteering at local high schools, miking herself up, getting clips of her motivating. She ended up sticking to it long enough. She just ran her own whole event at her full-blown campus with thousands of people speaking in front of them on a full-blown stage. So I would say it's really a mindset shift of just being an athlete and just being a creator and turning it into, I'm a business. My brand is my business and you're just the face of it. I think I answered that. I think there was maybe a part 2 that I didn't get to.
No, that's a good no. I think you did. Yeah, that's great. And it's great advice too for those that are trying to build, like I said, a successful brand within social media, post on the feed and the story. I mean, it doesn't hurt to do either one. The story that yes.
So yes, posting daily. Yeah, just don't burn out. I burnt out, but I was posting content that I thought maybe, other people cared to see, me interviewing other athletes, and I didn't care to do that. I rather have taught them to tell their own story. I ended up deleting my account, losing that entire fan base when I danced in the NBA and having to start all the way back over from scratch. And so I would say posting daily, yes, if you can. And if you feel like it's not an absolute dread, again, getting to kind of the scheduling tools and stuff like that to prevent that burnout. But posting, literally anybody that's made it has posted a bazillion times. I mean, Mr. Beast didn't become Mr. Beast until he had over 1,000 videos posted. And so that's just the reality of this. And then stories are actually slept on feature. I love Instagram stories because I look at that as Instagram stories aren't going to be what makes you go viral. They're not going to grow your audience or your following astronomically or any of your analytics. But what Instagram stories is going to do is help you convert your followers into an actual engaged community. And if you want to monetize your brand and turn this into a business, you need a community. You need super fans that buy into you and really care about what you do, because one day when you go to sell a t-shirt, if you didn't build a community and your followers don't even really know you for you, they're not going to buy it. And so Instagram stories goes out directly to your current followers. And there's a ton of engagement features like Instagram polls, Instagram quizzes that actually allow your audience to then respond and engage with you. So I use this example all the time. Every time I go from school to school. I've been to over 30 universities now. Every single time that I go, I either match my hat, my shoe, my suit, something to the color of the school that I'm going to. I'll always snap a picture of my shoe, upload it to my Instagram story, and add a questionnaire and say, which university do you think I'm going to next? And this floods with answers from athletes, from even other colleges, or just fans kind of watching, wondering, guessing where I'm going. And then I'll post. Now I have like 50 pieces of organic content from my followers that I get to repost on my Instagram story. Now it's just kind of like a spider web. Other people are seeing it. They want to go guess. Then I repost their answer. They see that they're wrong. They go and guess again. Sometimes I'll forget to even post the answer. Then I have people texting me. And I say this because now they're going to go to my Instagram feed and check in on that next reel that I post of when I actually announce where I'm going. They're going to follow along my journey versus me just snapping a picture of myself self-servingly saying, hey, I'm here at UGA. What does that do? I'm expecting them to view versus interacting with me and coming along my journey. So I actually love Instagram stories, and I would post as much as you can on there as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And a couple points you made about, the burnout, posting all the time. I've dealt with that too, for sure. This was in 2018. I took a whole year off from podcasting because I was posting, like I was writing and posting and everything. And felt like I got 4 or 5 times a day. And I'm like, I can't even like enjoy it and everything too. So I took that break, took a year off, came back in 2019 and relaunched the episode. So I totally get that. I remember you talking about that. I think at the seminar we were just on a Zoom, you was talking about how you burnt out and it was like deleted everything and just sometimes you got to rebrand. You got to you got to restart because you're only as good as what you are from if you're burnt out, you can't put out the best quality that you need and want. But again, you want to still post enough and consistent enough to make sure your followers are following you and your content as well. So I totally agree with that sentiment. All right, let's talk a little bit about. Well, we got to talk about AthleteCon for sure. The AthleteCon owner, the brand building convention for athletes. Talk about what it is. And why you launched it, and it's going on its 3rd season coming up next year. So I've seen all the athletes and content creators and everything too that comes together. It's a big convention. So talk a little bit about what AthleteCon is.
AthleteCon is the brand building convention for athletes. If you would have ever asked if this would have been in my roadmap or my bingo card, I would have said, you're crazy. I didn't plan on launching a convention, but what happened was I'd been to over 30 universities. I've helped thousands, well over 2,000 athletes really monetize their brand. And I've seen what hands-on curriculum and strategy can really do. It can change these athletes' lives. And so I'd been to pretty much every event within the industry, whether it be sports media, NIL, just sports in general, every single event. And I feel like I've been on panels, I've been the MC, I've been, just attendees. I've seen all sides of these events. And a lot of them, they're great, but nothing was tangible. Nothing felt like these athletes was catered to the athletes or to the brands. I felt like brands were spending thousands of dollars getting on stage, just talking about their business or their platform, expecting athletes to listen, athletes just sitting there, and athletes walk away with nothing but a picture, and brands walk away with nothing but their logo on a banner, and that's it. And they're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars. That bothered me once I've seen this actually work. I go to a school, I bring in a brand partner, I teach the athletes hands-on how to go actually shoot, edit, create the content. They post it live. In my workshops, brands were walking away with, hundreds of advertisements from D1 athletes. It's actually good content. And the athletes were walking away with the skills to do it again. And so I had to solve the problem. So I started AthleteCon 2 years ago. Instagram comes, TikTok comes, Canva comes, all the hands-on like social media platforms and the tools that these athletes need to learn how to actually monetize their brand. So it's a lot of hands-on curriculum. Then there's an actual content competition. So brands don't just get their logos slapped on a banner, even though they get that too. Brands walk away with hundreds of advertisements because there's a content creation competition where athletes get 4 hours to take the brand's products that are in the room and go make advertisements live. And then there's a pink turf suits and sneakers awards night where they get all dressed up and walk the pink turf. This year, it's going to be really, really big on a massive stage that CNN produced the presidential debate on, where brands actually get up and give away cash NIL deals, paid internships, and even job opportunities. These athletes and these brands are walking away with literally lifetime resources. I feel like every time I check LinkedIn, it's somebody that got hired from somebody that they met at AthleteCon or somebody's on somebody's podcast. It really, truly is just the room to be in if you want to learn more, not just about NIL. It's not just for college athletes. High school athletes come, their parents come, industry experts like lawyers, financial advisors, anyone that wants to really dive into, what this space in this industry is as a whole. This is definitely the room to be in. A lot of college administrators come. And this year I have education specifically for college admin and industry experts. So maybe you're at home and you're a lawyer, or maybe you're, an adult content creator that wants to learn more. I have specific education for you guys as well outside of just the athletes. So really excited to be taking it to Vegas this year. Made it to the big stage. I ran it in Charlotte where I'm from the first 2 years and sold out every year. And now this year, excited to really be taking over the Sahara Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. 2.5 days. We got a welcome party, 2 days of education, and then the Pink Turf Suits and Sneakers Awards night. So going to be a good time.
That's going to be a big, massive time, a big time. Congratulations, first and foremost, on the success of AthleteCon. And I've seen it over the last 2 years. And I've had a couple people from there. I know Ashley, she was, yes. We connected, maybe a year or two ago now. And, been on her shows, been on mine, and we just she talked about AthleteCon, how she wanted to go there, and I told her, hey, just do it, just reach out to Sam and do it, and everything too. And she's incredible. But like you said, I'm sure now that it's gotten bigger now. You're going to Vegas now, as you said, you're educating, you're helping, you're guiding, you got brands, you got all these things, athletes. And yes, I've been to a couple of these conventions too, and you're right. Or these seminars, and it's like you said, you go there and then you have people they're just sitting there and they say take a picture or whatever, and then they move on. You're like hands on, helping and guiding and giving them tips, and they're learning, and then they come away with something that it's meaningful. And I think that's what AthleteCon, as you explained, what it stands for, what it means.
It's everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta be hands-on. You walk away with book. Yeah.
Yeah, because I seen clips of you just walking and you're talking, you're chatting, you're giving them tips, and you're doing a lot of different things. And it's like, how do you how do you keep your like such a busy time when you're there? How do you like get to sit back and like say, wow, I can't believe like I've started this now almost 3 years now.
Yeah, it is surreal. I'm not gonna lie, Courtney.
Yeah,
It's hard to slow down because I also MC and host the whole
MC and
show
hosting. Yeah,
too.
right, right.
Lots of it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard sometimes, but last year at the very end, I had two athletes come up on stage, and it gives me goosebumps right now, and kind of my bigger why. Like all the athletes had gotten together, like well over 100 of them, communicating together, all pitched in some of their own money to buy me, a pair of sneakers because they know that was my favorite. They bought me, a massage and a really cute all pink outfit and stuff, and just all wrote me a card. Grace, who's now a part of the AthleteCon
Oh,
team.
yep. Shout out to Grace. Yes, yes.
Hand drawn, beautiful art that I look at every single day that motivates me. So it's them kind of giving back, and their feedback, even in the moment, taking the time to give back and pour back into me is just kind of the surreal moment that happens even in that room. So, even though it can be hard to slow it down when you're running a full blown event, but I don't take it for granted and find those moments to find the appreciation for sure.
It's very rewarding. And like I said, it's what you worked for, what you built for. And now you said you're running your third AthleteCon coming up in June of 2026. And I'm sure right after the last one, you was hard at work thinking of, okay, what can I make to make it bigger? And now you say going to Vegas and everything too. But it's okay. So it's like I said, someone wanted to just say, hey, I want to be part of this AthleteCon, but don't know how to, they can get in touch with you. But what would you say, like a pitch to say, hey, this is what if you want to come here, this is what to expect.
Yeah. So what to expect is seriously like 3 full days of just networking and education, and a lot of fun. But how you can get involved is visiting the website, athletecon.io. There's general admission tickets for sale. There's a group rate that I worked really hard on with the Sahara to try and make this thing as accessible to people as possible. I want as many people to be able to come and to really be able to learn. And so all the information is on the website for athletes, for admin, and for general admission as well. And then if you're interested in, sponsorship opportunities, speaking opportunities, anything like that, you just actually email me info@athletecon.io, which, all that information's on the website as well for you to actually inquire.
Absolutely. Yeah. So everyone that wants to be a part of it, just reach out and everything too. And I will push it as well on my, my feeds and since we've been connected now. So yeah, for sure. And everything. All right. Just got two more and I'll let you go. I know you said busy time and everything too, but, just want to ask, what's your, I know this question always varies, but what's your day-to-day like? I'm sure it's different each and every day, just like anything else. But if you can have like, what's a typical day for Sam, for like just like one day or some like a day-to-day?
Courtney, I'm working on trying to structure my days a bit better.
Okay.
So every day, I'm like, here's my to-do, and then somebody calls, and that takes priority. But
yes,
in all honesty, I still pride myself in a crazy way that I'd say 80% of my days are probably for free, taking athletes' calls to build their brand. The majority of the day is the back end, running the business, right? So connecting with people. I'm traveling a lot from school to school, working on long-term contracts with universities that want me, there 4 times a year, building out new curriculum, staying on top of what's really going on. So that, still edit a lot of content, produce my own content as well, connecting with brands. So a lot of meetings and a lot of like back end stuff that's maybe not as flashy as, what it appears.
Yeah. What they see on your stories or anything like that. But you're saying you're at the back and on the back end, you're like, I'm just taking calls. I'm, I'm educating. I'm traveling. All those things on top of being a wife too. On top of that as well, right? For sure. But we got Nathan. He says, "Fantastic episode. Thanks. We appreciate that."
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Absolutely. All right, just 2 more. Talk about the landscape of you've been in media and everything too. Talk about what you think of the future of sports media, also the future of NIL. Where do you see it? And that has changed, like I said, it's ever changing each and every time, each and every year, probably every day. But if you could talk about what you think of the future of sports media and NIL, just all in one.
This is my favorite question in the entire
Okay.
world to answer.
Okay.
My husband laughs at me every time with this because I go really, really bold with my prediction. But
Yes.
okay, so the future of NIL, we haven't even scratched the surface of what NIL looks like, because these athletes right now that are monetizing off of their brands grew up just traditional athletes. You work really hard at your sport, you put your head down, you get to the Division I level, and that's all you did, literally, other than having to keep enough grades to get there and keep your scholarship. Now with NIL, athletes are like, like there's a whole nother world that I have to figure out, and skills that I didn't have and I didn't grow up with while I'm trying to be a student athlete, like athlete and student and human. Now they're having to learn how to edit, create content, email businesses, attach files and, build out services. I mean, a whole nother world. They learned that because NIL passed, and now they see the opportunity and they want to take advantage of it. What's going to actually happen is now every single year, we're going to see more and more athletes coming into college with those skills. This year specifically, I could name 10 athletes off the top of my head that are coming into college as a freshman with over 100,000 followers. This is the reality. The kids that are coming up, or the athletes that are coming up, grew up a lot more. Every single year, we're going to see it more and more, where it's the kids that grew up in the high chair eating Cheerios, consuming YouTube shorts. They've been used to content. They've been used to these social media platforms. They want to build their brand. When I ask my nephews who play baseball, what do they want to be when they grow up? They say they want to be a YouTuber like Jake and Logan Paul. That was not reality, but this is the new reality. They want to build their brand. And so I think we're actually going to see a lot of athletes start playing sports to build their brand. And this is where my husband laughs at me and says it's the most bold statement in the world. I think we're going to see more so from sports entertainment flip to entertainment sports. Look at the Savannah Bananas. Everybody thought that Jesse was insane. He was sleeping on air mattresses, trying to make banana ball a thing for a decade. And now they're selling out stadiums more than the NFL players are. They're selling out NFL stadiums, and the NFL teams are not. That's because it's entertainment sports. So to me, we haven't even scratched the surface of what this looks like. And every single athlete's going to be walking in building their brand.
Yeah, very well said. That's I agree. I 100% agree with everything you said. And then the last part of that, you said we haven't seen it, like what the future can hold, what this can hold. So much can happen with media and NIL and things like that. There's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of questions that are unanswered. And as we said, that's where you come in with education. But just said the future of it and media on top of that, it's just the sky's the limit with it, and it can go so far. Like I said, my nephew too. He's just turned 7. Yeah, he just turned 7. He's getting into soccer, he's getting into basketball, and all these things. And he's just talking like, I just love YouTube. I love, like I said, 7 years old. Us growing up, it wasn't like that at all. We didn't have YouTube, and we didn't have all those things. Yeah, right. So he's talking, he's talking about, I love it. He's watching soccer clips and things like that just to get better. And I'm like, it's a great platform to have. Like I said, it has its plus and minuses. It definitely, just like anything else, social media has its plus and minuses too. But it goes to show like where the future can hold when it's used properly and when it's used correctly.
Sure. No doubt.
Yep, absolutely. All right, last one. Just any final words or any success stories you want to share? The floor is yours. I mean, really enjoy. I could have talked to you for hours, but
thank you.
For time, we'll cut it there. That was very well said. And I felt like that should have been last one. But any final words? Anything you wanted to add? Or
just post the content. Just put yourself out there. My dying words are going to be just the content, because again, you might be scared, you might be worried about what people think, but you're only missing out on building the dream life that you want. Whether you want to be a hairdresser or a barber, like they're on social media, like you can skip so many steps. Like I know athletes, people that used to want to be actresses, and they used to have to move to LA and eat ramen noodles or sideline reporting. When I was an editor at ESPN, I sat them down and said, I want to be a sideline reporter. And they told me, you got to leave. You got to go climb the ranks. You got to move to Nebraska and then come back to us in 5 years once you have on-air television experience. And they just hired a girl, Katie, full-time, who never had any on-air time, but because she had 14 million followers on social media. So the sky is the limit. There's no better opportunity or time to start than right now. Whatever it is that you want to do when you get out, or your dream life, it can be built at a way quicker scale because you can reach thousands and millions of people through the internet. So love social media or hate it. Don't be afraid of what people think. Put yourself out there and build your dream life.
Absolutely, very well said. And yeah, you're right. I was just talking to my wife. We were just talking about this yesterday about where these big networks like ESPN or Fox, or they're hiring content creators. They might not even, like you said, Katie, she has 14 million followers, but that's where it's going. I know people there was comments that people didn't like it, but I'm saying this is the way it goes. You gotta adjust and you gotta adapt when it comes. There's traditional media, yeah, there's a place for that, but there's also a place for the content creators, as you said, and athletes are getting into that brand building and brands and content creation, and they have over 10 million followers. They have over all these followers, and it's just the way it goes, and that's how it is. So that's the future for sure.
No doubt.
Yes. Well, Sam, this has been a pleasure talking with you. I was so excited to have you on, and it did not disappoint, which I knew it wouldn't at all. So I was so glad to get to know you a little bit and connect with you and everything too. So let everyone know they can first follow you on social media, if they can catch you. Follow you on social media, and it's good to be busy, but follow you on social media, and like I said, I want to reach out to you as well.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Sam B. Green. My handle's right here. And then for more information on AthleteCon, it's www.athletecon.io. Would love to meet everybody in Vegas. I am super excited for the opportunity to be here, Courtney. I appreciate your time, and happy Halloween to everybody.
Yeah, happy Halloween, and November will be here as well. Thanksgiving and Christmas, but enjoy the holidays as well. And again, hopefully you can get a little bit of time off just to kind of wind down and chill a little bit for the holidays. But I know you're gonna be crazy busy, so I'm looking forward to continue to follow your journey. I hope we can do this once again soon as well. So, but best of luck and many blessings to you moving forward as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, you have a good one. Talk to you soon.